decided now, after doing that, I'm going to read my story. Well, one of my stories, the one I've got on the laptop, we're going to start story times. That'd be nice, won't it? I could do some stories. And then if people get bored of listening to the Island Channel when they can't sleep, they can have a story. That'd be nice, I think. And there should be no copyright issues with these because I wrote it myself. Ha ha! I've actually read it through before. Probably need practice with my reading. But there we go. There we go. So, I just hold the phone too. I think it's charging. Right, so I wrote this for a writing competition on Facebook. Came up in lockdown. And I haven't really written for ages. And it's not really entirely finished, to be fair, but I'm going to read it anyway. I want to tweak bits of it. I did it in a day. I haven't read for ages. It was quite good practice, though. It was quite good fun. I did enter it in the end because Thurston wouldn't daft one. He wouldn't lend me the money to get Word. So, no, I don't know. I wanted some. I wanted a Thesaurus. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna just delete. Oh no, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that. Anyway, I didn't enter it, so let me finish it. I've done a lot of other short stories, and long-term plan was to illustrate them either as single stories or put them together into one book. Lost a lot historically. Another laptop, things, bits and pieces. I've got some in notebooks that seem to have disappeared as well. Things always disappear and might turn up again. Anyway, so I'm going to read this. It's called Moonstone and Mirrors. My brain's gone again. What's it called? Basically, it just said you need to write a short story with an owl, a barn owl, featuring in the narrative. So I immediately turned into shapeshifter because I felt like doing it. So it's called Moonstone and Mirrors. Moonstone and Mirrors. Moonstone was a barn owl, but also a witch. He was older than time as you think of it, but still only a tiny baby in human years. He was just beginning his second season as an owl and still in hiding. He didn't know when it would be safe, if ever it would be, to take form. Reading is so hard. I'm going to try again. I'm going to start from the beginning. I have to do this. Right. Moonstone was a barn owl, but also a witch. He was older than time as you think of it, but still only a tiny baby in human years. He was just beginning his second season as an owl and still in hiding. He didn't know when it would be safe, if ever it would be, to take back to his form as an actual man, but he also didn't know if he wanted that. He liked being an owl. He wasn't much bothered by things as he used to be. In fact, the longer he spent as an owl, the less he wanted to go back home into being a man. But it was still summer and the mice were fat and in plenty. Maybe come winter he'd want more to be tasting in front of a fire. Winter, mind, can be a fine time for an owl, if their senses are sharp. Things come through like radio. The you and me might never learn. In summer it's different. Summer is more like television, which is all well and good, but in winter the signals are sharp, and if they come quickly. As it is, people often think men are wizards and women are witches, but this isn't the case at all. Right now he was a witch. Now, this is just the start, so you need to pay attention. I love allegories. Winter can be depression. It can be all sorts of things, really. Right. It's not. It's like, William Marshall always used to say my stories were dystopian, like multi-leveled, is how he explains dystopian to me. In the beginning, he missed the bustle. He missed her, of course, Mira. But he knew if they came together for too long, he always makes me laugh because I think it's always difficult to maintain a shift, isn't it? I've been on some shifts. That are really hard to maintain. And it was getting harder to find places times. He'd catch glimpses of flashes. This was supposed to be serious, but I just, do you know what? It wasn't written as fan fiction. It was just a nice story, and right, I can't concentrate. There's too much things going on in this story. I could jump on the hill. I might have to take the jumper off because I'm getting too hot. It's supposed to be a bedtime story. I don't think anybody's going to get to sleep with all this nonsense. In the beginning. In the beginning, he missed the bustle. He missed her, of course, Mira. But it's also mirrors was to do with, like, because Pisces is a mirror fish. And there's all sorts of mirroring of different things. I shouldn't have to explain it, really, should I? I shouldn't have to explain the story. But there's mirroring of behaviour and, like, hypocrisy and all sorts. In the beginning, he missed the bustle. He missed her, of course, Mira. But he knew if they came together for too long, they would lose the ability to maintain the shift. And it was... I've spoiled it completely, haven't I? Joke clinic! Joke clinic! She spilled a joke. In the beginning, he missed the bustle. He missed her, of course, Mira, but he knew if they came together for too long, they would lose the ability to maintain the shift. And he was going harder to find places to hide these days. You catch glimpses of her flashes where the spirit exposes itself. I've wet myself. Oh dear. And she'd not be without me, either, not for long. Her hair dying and skinking under the moon would delight him, and he'd glide and sweep beside her. Then she'd vanished. This was to do with partly... I might have to try and read it through properly one day. With Boudica. Have you heard of Boudica? Apparently she used to keep her hair up her skirt. Up her skirt. And she'd scry. Like, you know, cloud scrying or tea leaf reading, but she'd scry the movements of the hair, like she let it go if she had to make a decision. And that's how she made a lot of her decisions, apparently. So to do that, skinking is how hairs move. Under the moon would delight him, and he'd glide and sweep beside her. Then he'd vanish the realm, knowing as he did that this was no time to let down the veil of secrecy. I mean, with the 7 realms of existence, or whatever it is, 7 planes of existence, it does all flow quite well. I mean, in my mind, it does. When I was writing it, that's exactly what was happening. I was just travelling realms, to be fair. I've spoiled it now. Stop tickling me. And then she vanished the realm, knowing, as he did, that this was no time to let down the veil of secrecy. They had both done bad things, and people needed someone to take the blame. This is a story that travels over lifetimes, and some people will chase you forever. Some things you'll never forget, like that flower appearing effervescent, excessively vibrant from the others, and supinely exposing, stealing his attention for longer. A flower should an owl. It was her. The soft rain would pull him back to the times when she listened and gently cooed that all would end well, not to fret. Tiny kisses to seal. Tiny kisses of proof to seal the prophecy. Remember, she said, whatever happens, I'll always be close. So the rain became her kisses, the flower became a smile, and her dancing hair, her teasing and willful ways. But he missed her, and his heart ached. It was his fault they had been caught. To blame someone, don't you? I like to blame other people, usually. In part, at least this time. He was trusting that they wouldn't be noticed for the odd incantation, but people were jealous, not always happy with the result. The wife returned, but she was still indolent, and the cow produced a hefty yield, but people had no money for cream. She wouldn't care for blame. It was a hazard they faced, but here they had been caught, exposed, and burned for witches. House pulled down, the children taken. They returned in the morning, laughing at the absurdity of the scene. She chose his form, and he hers a parting gift to the other. They let the children go on, knowing they'd be taken in for labour. Could do something with children once they're out there. And they cost a lot to maintain. And they'd be... They were to morph to the surroundings and be polite, but they could create a mischief as easy as blink. And they agreed, for now, that they would let things settle before trying too much to help. Help, it seemed, often makes people greedy, lazy, and weak. It's always true, but that's just how it came out. It was quite normal for witch children to spend time in service learning to hold secrets. Mira was 12 when she first set eyes on Alan. That's a good name for witch, I thought. I googled medieval names. Alan came up. It just seemed perfect, really. What I had in mind. He was flustered somewhat. A gathering of reprehensible local boys were pecking and pulling at him like angry geese. So she picked up a large rock and shouted, "Stop that right now, I'll throw it." "You know I will." And she would have. She heard a boy before, a much bigger boy, who she'd seen stealing a pie from a window. Could be anything, really. I love allegories. He wasn't a hungry boy. He was a big fat one who should have been doing chores. He lied that dog had eaten it, and the dog got chased by a woman with a stick. I'm a pet activist. I like to get people chasing dogs in with sticks here and there. She knew hitting was bad. She knew. But sometimes she got so angry, and her mother, who was a witch, who had been born a witch from the days when witches was born that way, and everyone knew where they stood, told her she needed to mind her temper or she'd not be given a wand. She wouldn't. She'd not be given a wand. So there. I don't know. Looked like a boy who needs to steal a pie. And eat it. He had pale skin like Moonstone. Glowed iridescent. She swore to herself and made the mark. For Moonstone unlocked secrets. She had plenty. He was gangly like an untrained climber. His clothes were tattered and grimy from work. He looked slightly dishevelled, like he'd been sleeping in a barn rather than in the houses. Had that smell, hay and animals rather than smoke and beer. When she got closer, she could see he had eyes like shot silk, not blue, brown or green, but like the autumn woods dappled with light. His messy tousled hair sat perfectly like a hood around his... I've got a type, actually. His messy tousled hair sat perfectly like a hood around his angular and awkward-looking features. She thought he was going to cry, so she kicked him. Doesn't actually say that. The boys had all taken off, muttering about how they weren't doing anything. Being late for tea, they were playing a game, and see you later. Mira always brought trouble. This is awful. Do you know what? I wouldn't be able to concentrate on this if I was being read to. I'll try it again later. I used to read to children every night. Well, every night I remembered. For a bit. The boys had all taken off, muttering about how they weren't doing anything. Being late for tea, they were playing a game and see you later. Mira always brought trouble. It's not so much they were scared of a girl, but the things that seemed to happen if she ever got involved. She knew they were guilty. The pie boy was there, and Darren, who was known for breaking windows. He could be a hacker, couldn't he? He could be anything, really. They were always in the middle of things they shouldn't be. There we go. "Why did you do that?" the ghost boy spoke. His voice undulating slightly. She could hear the curiosity in the tone of his voice. Even though he was clearly fighting back tears, it was actually written about something that happened. I like it all for its dystopian magnificence. "You're a changeling," she spoke brazenly, pretending not to notice the sadness. "I can tell. My mother is a witch, and I will be one after. Why did you come? Are you hungry? Have you got a message for us? What is your name? That will be a clue. But they were being unkind, and I can see inside." She ended whimsically. Like whimsically, actually, I just need to use a different word. Helen broke a small crooked smile. "You're mad," she said. Oh, he said. Her lack of caution with words emboldened him. But that's true though, isn't it? Because when people you do feel more confident talking to people, just like, bah, 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 bah. I think so, most people do anyway. He knew witches were real, but they don't throw rocks, but he knew. And he wasn't really used to people helping him or talking. "I'm just a boy. I'm called Alan. My mother died. I got sent with my brother on a farm, but it's not doing well, and everyone's always arguing. I'm supposed to be getting bread. I wasn't given any money, and when I get back, I'll get hit." That's not really read in the way I read it when I read it. Saying much more than he meant to, or probably ever had to a stranger, he wished a lot that he could change. He wished a lot that he could ever change himself, his life, his past. Sometimes he wished he'd never wake up from his dreams. We'll do that though. He dreamed of his mother often, singing softly and thinking she was real. She died when he was very small. It had to happen, it was her time. That's what he was told. But often changelings have to be moved because that's what their roots decide. Sometimes it's better in the long to have an undiscovered path rather than the one that's mapped on top. It's just to do with adapting to change, really. And other things, sort of. It makes keeping secrets that much easier. Some secrets are very, very big. His mother would have known, or his father, maybe both. And he'd wake up and the cow would be breathing soft warm air on his face. And he'd smile and thank her and pretend it was his mother saying, wake up, my sunshine boy. The day's just opened and we have so much to do." But he didn't tell Mary any of these things. It wasn't proper for a boy to dream about his mother kissing him as a cow. And anyway, the sunshine didn't last. Soon he'd be up and Uncle would be shouting and there'd be no money for bread. Let's just do the 7 realms again, really. Mary puzzled. She knew Alan meant deer, and he was a dear thing. It does, actually. It does. In medieval times, it meant deer. So there. Mira's that sort of girl. That's what Mother would say. Well, she was starting to think he was difficult. She was. Because she's probably a bit of a brat, to be fair, even though she... What's the word? Petulant? Is that the right word? I can't think. She is in this bit anyway. I don't think she means to be. Mira puzzled. She knew Alan meant deer, and he was a dear thing. That's what Mother would say, though. Oh, God, say it again. Mira puzzled. She knew Alan meant deer. He was a dear thing. That's what Mother would say. Though she was starting to think he was difficult, even if his mother did die and he did get hit. But those boys were like hungry wolves, and she knew he needed some help. I think you should be called Aslan. That's a much finer name. We can pretend you are my brother that got lost. Then no one will try and hurt you. People are scared of Mother, even if they don't say. Mother will know what to do. Follow me. Don't be scared. I like Alan, he said. It means deer. My mother gave it to me before she died when I was a baby, was all he said. Not really feeling scared at all. Mira's face scrumpled up. She didn't like the feel of the letters in her mouth. It didn't match how she felt about Alan or the moment. All she could think was there was something missing from it. She always called him Aslan after that. Oh, God, Mira's though. Snuck the S in like a squeak. She pretended she never did. It was the only one he let because... Oh, boo. She was the only one he let. And that was only because he knew some things weren't worth arguing. But she liked that his mother had called him dear before he died. And he had lice like eyes, like the forest, and he gangled and bobbed like a fawn. She liked that he had a face like the moon and smelled like hair moss. He didn't shout like the boys from town. Also, surprisingly, trusted Mira some and agreed to follow her. Maybe it was a shock. Maybe it was just not wanting to go home. Maybe it was just she wasn't used to witching girls offering to throw rocks at the boys and then running off. Maybe he was just scared not to. Maybe we'll never know. Maybe we will. But she had a nice face, even if she did speak in riddles. She had dark brown hair like a bear, which wasn't shiny. Her teeth didn't seem to match her mouth.